pediatrician, Dr. Gary Kirkles. Doctor, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about Tylenol, acetaminophen. What is acetaminophen?
So it's a very popular pain reliever, and we recommend it for children, we recommend it for adults, and in particular, we recommend it for pregnant mothers.
Why?
Because it's one of the safest medications that we know of. The alternatives being ibuprofen or aspirin, both of those have well-documented effects. So aspirin would cause some bad fetal kidney issues, and ibuprofen would cause fetal heart defects. So we steer clear of those.
I heard the White House making this link between Tylenol, acetaminophen, and autism. What were your thoughts?
As a pediatrician, I immediately went to the thought of the rhetoric that we've heard in the past about the MMR vaccine having a link to autism, and that's been totally debunked. And it was sort of in a similar vein where we're sort of grasping at things that don't have a real clear link to autism, and acetaminophen is no different. There are studies that show that there is a potential association. There's other studies that say there's no association. So it was sort of in the same vein for me.
But why does this persist? If, again, the tests are inconclusive at best, and it sounds like every pediatrician, every organization out there is saying, please, if you have a fever, if you're not feeling well, and take Tylenol. And the President of the United States is saying, don't take Tylenol, fight like hell not to take it. Where's the disconnect coming from?
Honestly, I think it's some sort of, it's maybe human nature for us to be able to point to something and to villainize it and say, if you could just only avoid this one thing, it would be smooth sailing, like the MMR vaccine. But none of this pans out.
There seems to be rising levels of autism. Now, is that because it's being diagnosed different? Is that because it's just there are more people aware of autism? Why are the numbers as they are, which prompts these kinds of announcements?
Well, twofold. So one, we are screening more. So every 18 months and every 24 months, we are screening every child that comes in for a well check. So there's one explanation. We're just screening more children. The second is the diagnostic criteria has expanded. In the past, it was very limited to people who were nonverbal and had some very serious neurodevelopmental delays. Now it's expanded where now more people can fit into that diagnostic criteria. So those two things at play are leading to more cases. Is it potential that there's some sort of environmental exposure that's also at play? That remains.
Okay. Is there research that would back up the statement from the President who said that women with pain should just tough it out?
No. In fact, pain, fever, all those things, if they're severe enough, will cause preterm labor. So if you have a mom that's experiencing the flu, high fevers, you wouldn't want that fever to ride out, because then that woman likely will have a preterm labor, which you don't want. You want baby in for as long as possible, about 9 months.
You bring children with autism that come in, and the poor mom's sitting there thinking, did I take Tylenol, and that's why my child perhaps is on the spectrum in some way, shape, or form? That's difficult.
Yeah, and you know, when that comes up, I reassure moms. I said, there's nothing that you did that was wrong. If they want, I can explain the research that says, you know, in some cases there's an association, in some cases there is no association. There is even research that shows there's a negative association, i.e. that taking Tylenol would actually be beneficial to prevent autism, because if the thought is that perhaps it's the fever or the infection that caused the fever, taking the Tylenol would prevent that association.